Good morning, America. Nationwide protests. Thousands of No Kings rallies held across the country.
When protesters are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Voicing opposition to Trump administration policies. Organizers saying millions of Americans taking part. GMA covering it all coast to coast.
Possible ceasefire violation. The State Department reporting that Hamas is planning an imminent attack on Palestinians in Gaza, which would violate its peace deal with Israel. The response from Hamas this morning.
Shutdown anxiety. Furloughed federal workers with no paychecks facing tough decisions.
Where can I find a zero-interest loan, or am I going to have to get a side gig?
As 42 million Americans stand to lose food stamp benefits in just weeks, with Republicans and Democrats deadlocked in Washington.
Heading to trial, former Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson charged with murdering Sonia Massey, who called 911 for help. The jury to decide whether it was self-defense.
Breaking news, the brazen heist at the world-famous Louvre Museum in Paris. Thieves using chainsaws to open display cases, stealing priceless objects. The museum shut down.
GMA Health Alert. The shocking loss of R&B legend D'Angelo, putting a tight focus on the health of black men and one of the deadliest cancers. The symptoms you shouldn't ignore and the importance of regular checkups.
And college football stunners. Georgia's come-from-behind win over Mississippi, led by Gunnar Stockton's 4 TD passes.
And Frazier walks in.
And Vandy scores their biggest win in decades. All the highlights ahead, plus ESPN's Herm Edwards looks forward to this weekend's top NFL games.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Sunday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Gio's been talking so much trash because your NFL picks are destroying us.
It ain't trash. It ain't trash.
Truly, knocking it out of the park.
Man, all right, we're going to get to all of that later on. We have a lot to cover this morning, including some breaking news out of Paris. France's culture minister reporting a robbery at the famed Louvre Museum, home to Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. New images coming in this morning of a ladder at the back of the museum in Paris as police responded to the heist.
Yes, all over the world, people will be talking about that story today. Also ahead, the disturbing new details in the search for Kada Scott, the Philadelphia woman who disappeared just over 2 weeks ago. Human remains discovered behind an abandoned school. We have the latest coming up.
Oh, that's just so awful. But first, we do begin here with the nationwide No Kings protests targeting the Trump administration. Organizers say 7 million people took part in thousands of events across the country. ABC's Andrew Dimbert was on the streets here in New York, and he's here with a roundup. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, good morning, Gio. It was the second round of No Kings protests. Huge crowds demonstrating in cities coast to coast in response to what they call an abuse of power by President Trump and his administration. Nearly 7 million people in over 2,700 cities nationwide taking to the streets Saturday, according to organizers, protesting what they say is the abuse of power by President Donald Trump, calling it No King's Day.
When protesters are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Rallies held in all 50 states, a majority of them peaceful, from Florida, Arizona, and Texas.
We will never accept his totalitarianism.
To the major cities of San Diego, Atlanta, and Chicago. In the heart of New York City,
we protect our people!
Hordes of demonstrators flooding Manhattan's busiest streets.
It's time to start upholding the Constitution.
Democracy is dying, and we have to save it.
There's no place for kings in America. Donald Trump is attempting to bully us and intimidate us to the point that we are unwilling to stand up.
Across the coast, aggressive ICE raids are just one of many of Trump's policies motivating protesters to show up in Los Angeles. Our Alex Stone was on the ground.
Here in the Los Feliz neighborhood of Los Angeles, several thousand people have come out, some with their children, others walking their dogs. They say that they want to be peaceful, but they want their voices heard.
Meanwhile, at the nation's capital,
we, the people.
More than 200,000 people gathering amid the government shutdown. Our Christian Cordero was there.
In Washington, D.C., a city filled with federal workers who are currently furloughed, tens of thousands of people have shown up here at a pivotal moment, fighting back against what they call an assault on democracy.
To now be stuck, not getting paid, worrying about how my family is going to get it through this period, it has been very stressful.
This is the second wave of protests organized by No Kings, a network of progressive organizations fighting against the Trump agenda, drawing in 2 million more participants since the first nationwide demonstration in June. The message even being spread internationally with demonstrations in Mexico, Canada, and Spain. There were no immediate reports of violence or arrests, according to several local police departments. Earlier in the week, when asked about the rallies, President Trump telling Fox News, quote, "I am not a king."
Okay, Andrew Dimber, thank you for that. We appreciate it. It is now day 19 of the government shutdown, and for federal workers and others waiting on their paychecks, the economic impact is intensifying. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is in Washington with what comes next here. Selena, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Whit. Day 19, and there is still no end in sight. The longer this drags on for, the more painful it is for millions of Americans and the bigger the impact on our economy.
This morning, growing anxiety across America as the government shutdown stretches into its fourth week. Officials warning 42 million Americans could lose their food stamp benefits in 2 weeks, with SNAP on track to run out of funding. Food banks across the country preparing for a surge in demand. The president ramping up pressure on Democrats, already freezing billions of dollars in infrastructure projects in blue states and threatening to slash programs.
We're cutting Democrat programs that we didn't want, giveaways, welfare programs, etc. And we're doing that, and we're cutting them permanently.
More than 750,000 federal workers furloughed, more than 4,000 fired. But the White House says some, including military troops, FBI agents, and DHS officers, will get paid.
We got the people that we want paid, okay? And we want the FBI paid, we want the military paid.
But thousands of other federal workers, like Air Traffic Controller Mike Christine, who's also a union representative, are going without pay.
You're talking about it while you're at work with your coworkers and just figuring out, where can I find a zero interest loan, or am I going to have to get a side gig?
At what point does this actually impact safety in the skies?
Every day it goes on, a distraction turns into a hazard. You throw the headset on, you're supposed to forget everything that happened at home. But when you're starting to think about, I can't even pay the mortgage, what are we going to tell? It's very, very frustrating.
But on Capitol Hill, a stalemate. Democrats holding firm on their demand to extend expiring Obamacare subsidies.
Part of the problem is that House Republicans are nowhere to be found. Literally have been on vacation for 3 consecutive weeks.
So you heard what the House Minority Leader said there, and the House is again out all next week as talks in the Senate are at a standstill. So Republicans are saying they will not negotiate on health care when the government is shut down. But what that means is that thousands of federal workers are wondering when they'll get their next paycheck, yet members of Congress, guys, are still getting paid. Janae?
They certainly are still getting paid. Selena Wang, thank you so much. Now let's bring in Chief Washington Correspondent Jonathan Karl, who will be hosting This Week later this morning to talk about all of this. John, thanks for being with us. Talk to us about this government shutdown. Is there any ending in sight as we are leading up to day 20?
I mean, honestly, Janae, no. I don't see any sign of even serious negotiations going underway. The Republicans seem to have calculated that the Democrats are feeling the pain from this and that they'll pay the political price because they voted against the temporary funding bill. The Democrats are getting a lot of positive reinforcement from rank and file Democrats across the country who are looking for the party leaders to show a fight against Donald Trump. So I don't see any real signs of this. And here's the thing. And I'll be talking to, of course, the Speaker of the House exclusively this morning, and also Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader. The House is not in session. The House is closed for business. There are no hearings. There are no votes. Nothing is happening in the House. So I'll talk to both of them about that. There's not even, talk about no movement at all. They're literally not in session.
That's what's so striking, because they are still getting paid as other federal workers have to go to work and are not getting paid. John, let's also turn to the war in Ukraine. President Zelensky, he walked away from his meeting with President Trump empty-handed. Trump calling for both sides to lay down arms immediately. Talk to us about the fallout.
Yeah, so we saw part of this on, play out in front of the television cameras as they sat down for lunch, Zelensky, Trump, and their various teams. There was a pretty well-meaning affair compared to what happened in February when you had that blow-up in the Oval Office. But I'm told that the second meeting, which was without television cameras, that took place in the Oval Office, really was quite tense, not quite what we saw in February. But Zelensky came here with one major goal, and that is to get more advanced weapons from the United States, including those Tomahawk missiles, so he could bring the fight to the Russians on Russian territory to try to, to try to have some more progress against the Russians. And he came away with absolutely nothing. Of course, President Trump says he's going to meet with Vladimir Putin in Hungary. He said perhaps sometime in 2 weeks. We'll see how that goes. But Zelensky's not going to be at that meeting. So once again, Zelensky seems to be facing this without significant American support and not getting the support that he really said he needed and thought he had a good chance of getting in this meeting with Trump.
Yeah, as the fighting continues. John Carl, we appreciate you being with us, and make sure to tune into This Week Later. John, as he mentioned, has exclusive interviews with House Speaker Mike Johnson and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Gio.
All right, a big show ahead, Janae. And now to the Mideast and the U.S. State Department with a warning that Hamas could be planning an attack on Palestinian civilians. That's a potential violation of the ceasefire. And ABC's Marcus Moore joins us now from London with this. Good morning, Marcus.
Gio, good morning. A lot is happening this morning. Both sides are now accusing the other of violating the ceasefire. This morning, Israel has conducted new airstrikes in Gaza, and according to Israel, this follows multiple attacks that Hamas launched against IDF soldiers beyond the Yellow Line. Now, all of this comes after that State Department warning. Now, Hamas says it's targeting criminal gangs and has called the warning Israeli propaganda and a false pretext for Israel to resume its bombardment in Gaza. Now, even with the ceasefire in place, there have been violent incidents throughout the Gaza Strip. Officials say Hamas has been working to regain control of parts of Gaza, and there have also been clashes between Hamas-linked groups and militias there, some reportedly backed by Israel. And then you have incidents along the Yellow Line where IDF troops have partially withdrawn. Yesterday, the IDF killed a family of 11 Palestinians who they said approached that line. And Prime Minister Netanyahu has also said that the Rafah crossing along Gaza's southern border with Egypt will remain closed until the remaining bodies of dead hostages are returned to Israel. No one was under any illusions about how difficult this ceasefire would be to maintain, and we are seeing that this morning.
Yeah, all of just highlighting how fragile the situation still remains. Marcus Moore for us. Thank you. We turn now to two survivors of a military strike on a suspected drug smuggling submersible vessel now returning to their home countries. President Trump says 4 people he describes as narco-terrorists were on board the vessel when military forces carried out the strike in the Caribbean on Thursday. Trump yesterday revealing that 2 of the survivors are being sent back to Ecuador and Colombia for detention and prosecution. One of them reportedly arrived in Ecuador yesterday and remains under medical observation.
All right, now to what appears to be devastating news in the case of a missing Philadelphia woman last seen 2 weeks ago while working at a nursing home. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more now on the search for Kada Scott. Morgan, you brought us the story yesterday, and now we have this update.
Yeah, certainly not the update that we want to be bringing you this morning. A heartbreaking development in the search for 23-year-old Kada Scott. After more than 2 weeks of searching, police say a very specific anonymous tip led detectives back to this abandoned elementary school where they uncovered a shallow grave in the woods with remains that they believe to be those of Kada Scott. Now, the medical examiner, of course, is working to confirm the identity, and investigators are in touch with Scott's family. Now, keep in mind, this is the same location where officers say they found her debit card and phone case last week during that search. Meanwhile, attention is back on 21-year-old Keon King, the man already arrested in connection with Kada's disappearance. You see him there. Police say that he was previously charged in another alleged kidnapping kidnapping back in January. But of course, we know he walked free after posting cash bail. Now, authorities say that King was the last person seen with her, and they believe that she did not leave with him willingly. The suspect is being held on a $2.5 million bail, expected in court for his preliminary hearing next month. All eyes on this and whether he will have additional charges. Of course, authorities are investigating that.
And we remember her family yesterday saying that they just wanted her back home. So this is just heartbreaking. We're thinking of them. Morgan, thank you so much. Now to jury selection set to start in the murder trial of a former sheriff's deputy accused of killing a woman who'd called 911 for help. And ABC's Olivia Rubin is here now with this. Good morning, Olivia.
Gio, good morning. It has been over a year since Sonia Massey was killed in her own home by a police officer after calling 911, sparking international outrage. Now that officer set to face a jury accused of murder.
This morning, Sean Grayson, the former deputy accused of killing Sonia Massey, is headed to trial this week.
Sheriff's Office.
Grayson charged with first-degree murder in a case prosecutors say revolves around body camera footage showing his response to Massey's home after she called police to report a disturbance last July.
It sounds like somebody was banging on the side of my house. I don't know. Okay, y'all come and see.
Throughout the 6-minute encounter, Massey struggling to answer questions. Her family saying she had recently been experiencing mental illness.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name.
Things quickly escalate after deputies told her she could remove a pot of boiling water from the stove.
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot. Drop the pot. Drop the
19 shots fired.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
According to the autopsy report, the bullet entered under Massey's left eye. Grayson never denied firing, saying in court documents he feared for his life. He is pleading not guilty to murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and misconduct.
In order for the jury to convict Grayson, they would have to believe that there was no reasonable fear, both objectively and subjectively, that Grayson was in fear of his life, whether it be death or serious injury.
Now, this trial has been moved to a different location due to the extensive publicity here and outside court this week. Activists and supporters planning to rally with Massey's family. Whit.
All right, Olivia Rubin for us. We appreciate it.
College football now and some awesome games overnight. ABC's Ike Kajachi is here with the highlights. Hey, Ike.
Hey, good morning, Gio. What a Saturday it was in college football. The kind of day that shakes up the SEC in the playoff picture. Let's start in Nashville where Vanderbilt, yes, Vandy, stunned the college football world. The 17th-ranked Commodores upset number 10 LSU 31-24, and quarterback Diego Pavia was electric, throwing for one score, running for two more, including a highlight reel Heisman-style touchdown pose that fired up the home crowd. Vandy took down LSU for the first time since 1990, their biggest win in decades. And over in Athens, a heavyweight shootout between Georgia and Ole Miss more than lived up to the hype. The 9th-ranked Bulldogs pulled away late, beating number 5 Ole Miss 43-35 after trailing in the second half. Now Georgia's Gunnar Stockton, I should say, he threw 4 touchdown passes, 3 of them to tight end Lawson Lucky as the Bulldogs defense finally clamped down in the fourth quarter to preserve the victory. And then in Tuscaloosa, Roll Tide, Alabama making a statement. The 6th-ranked Crimson Tide rolled past number 11 Tennessee 37-20. The turning point came just before halftime. A stunning 99-yard pick six by Xavier Brown flipped the game entirely. Quarterback Ty Simpson, he threw for over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns as Bama stayed unbeaten in the SEC and extended its mastery over the Vols, guys.
All right, so you've got that covered, Ike, but let's switch gears. It's hard to believe the NBA season starts this week.
Yeah, can you believe it? The preseason's already in the books, and the regular season tips off Tuesday with a doubleheader. The reigning champion Oklahoma City Thunder behind MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They start their title defense while Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets look to reclaim the West. And of course, all eyes are on LeBron James entering his 23rd and possibly final season at age 41. The NBA, he's still looking to make a final playoff push with the Los Angeles Lakers, even as he battles sciatica, but don't count him out. He's coming off a 20 points per game season, another all-star nod. Obviously, the big news, the big storylines are everywhere, from rookie sensation Cooper Flagg in Dallas, obviously Victor Wembanyama leading a resurgent Spurs team, yeah, it's shaping up to be one of the most star-packed seasons ever, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, looking forward to all of it. Some other big news you have, too. Ike Ejiachi, Hall of Famer. Congratulations.
Show the picture.
Honored yourself.
Hey, there he is.
Handsome fella. Yeah, tell us about this honor.
Wow, thank you. First of all, this is a surprise. I didn't know. I'm like over here sweating. I'm like, all right, we're done with the read. No, I got my master's degree over at Quinnipiac University back in, I think, 2015. And it was just such a great experience. You know what I mean? Like the warmth of the hug I felt as soon as I walked in there. And it really just jump-started everything. You know what I mean? Got me to my first station, came back, started teaching there as an adjunct professor. And it's just really been an honor to just have that link to Quinnipiac.
Well, congratulations, Hall of Famer.
Well
and of course, we love having you here as part of our family, too.
Yeah. Did you see they even showed a video?
I know. That's right.
He's big time.
Let's go.
All right, Ike, we'll check back with you in a bit. In our next hour here on GMA, we're also going to talk about the NFL. We've got that covered. ESPN's Coach Herm Edwards previews the big games, including the Giants, hoping to keep a winning streak going.
Also, you don't want to miss Gio's winning streak.
Yeah, there's that.
Yes. Also coming up here on GMA, crucial medical information for all men, especially black men, in the wake of the death of R&B legend D'Angelo.
Very important story. And that late word out of Paris, the world-famous Louvre Museum shut down for the day following a shocking heist. You're watching GMA on this Sunday morning. Stay with us. All right, and we are going to start this half hour here with the breaking news from Paris. Thieves staging a heist at the Louvre Museum, targeting priceless jewelry displays. And ABC's Marcus Moore has more on that. Good morning again, Marcus.
Hey, Jill, good morning. These details are still coming in, but here's what we know right now. This was a bold and sophisticated robbery. It happened at the Louvre this morning as it was opening. The robbery reported around 9:30. Authorities say 3 to 4 robbers arrived at the museum in Paris, used a ladder at one point, and a freight elevator to reach the Apollo room. Their authorities say they broke windows and used small chainsaws to steal jewelry, the crown jewels. The robbery itself lasted about 7 minutes, and 9 pieces of invaluable jewelry were taken. Those robbers took off on motorbikes. Now, one American witness who was there when this happened described the chaos. She says she saw the police running into the museum, which was eventually evacuated and is still shut down. On a Sunday like this, the museum sees tens of thousands of visitors. So for them to close it is truly extraordinary. Now, there were no injuries reported, and now there's an urgent manhunt for the suspects. The Interior Minister said their team of robbers seemed highly trained.
All right, Marcus Moore for us. Thank you.
All right, now we are going to turn to the spotlight on black men's health and life expectancy. Just days ago, we learned of the death of R&B legend D'Angelo at the age of 51. His family revealing he was privately dealing with pancreatic cancer. Joining us now to unpack more of this conversation is ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darien Sutton. So many people were shocked to hear about this, shocked at his age, and we've seen this trend of younger men dying from these cancers. D'Angelo, after a battle with one of the deadliest pancreatic cancers. So, Dr. Sutton, what are some of those common red flag symptoms that folks should look out for?
It's a critical reminder about black men's health overall. Now, pancreatic cancer is notoriously silent, which makes it a challenge, mainly because there's no screening method for it. So early recognition of these symptoms is really key. And the symptoms that you want to pay attention to are things like unexplained weight loss, fatigue, jaundice, or dark urine. This is because there's a component of our blood called bilirubin that can rise as a result of the pancreatic cancer. Again, there is no formal screening, so talking to your provider about your symptoms is essential.
You know, and another reminder, we've talked about this before. According to the CDC, black men are among the lowest life expectancy when we're talking about all demographics, race and gender. So what's behind this?
It's pretty significant, and I want to put some of these numbers into perspective. Black men, Alaska Native men, American Indian men have life expectancies of the shortest comparative to overall numbers, so 7 to 10 years lower than the average of 73 years old. Now, as far as the reasons behind this, it is nuanced and complex. Of course, there's a genetic component to pay attention to, but really what these numbers reflect is a deep systemic inequity that exists within communities that is played out within these numbers. Barriers to access to care, unequal access to care, a lot of that plays out into the examining room. What's important to know is that these numbers are not inevitable. Making steps by seeing a primary care doctor and getting getting screened can close that gap and make a difference.
Yeah, those are such troubling numbers. And when you look at all men, I mean, so many wait till it's too late to even go for they don't go to the routine checkups. So what's the message? How do you help them prioritize all of that?
Approximately 50% of men in total don't go to routine checkups. It's so important to share that and to make sure that we all understand the power of prevention. I'm an emergency physician, but my life's goal is keeping people out of the hospital. And the way we do that is by screening effectively. And I think many black men do not know that they're at higher risk. Number one, for all of us, everyone should be paying attention to those 3 key numbers at the top: cholesterol, sugar, blood pressure. That's the key indicators of cardiovascular disease, which is the leading cause of death. But as far as other cancers that systemically and increased or we have an increased risk of as black men, you want to pay attention to things like prostate cancer and colon cancer. These conversations should start in your early 40s if you're high risk. That doesn't just include black men. For example, if you have a genetic risk, if you have a family history of the BRCA gene, we talked about this before, that increases your risk as well. Again, these early conversations can save a life because many people are just simply not aware that they might be have availability for increased screening and earlier screening.
Truly important information. As you point out, these numbers don't have to be that way.
They don't have to be
People
inevitable.
can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, Dr. Sutton.
Okay, ESPN's Herm Edwards, he's back with his take on all the big NFL games to watch and sharing some predictions I'm especially skilled at.
Oh boy.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to GMA Week 7 in the NFL season as we look ahead to the biggest games. And joining us now with his insights this morning is ESPN football analyst, our friend Herm Edwards. Herm, it is good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Coach. Good to be with y'all. We got some problems in the NFL right now, but we're gonna fix them.
Yeah, we got some problems. Your Eagles, your beloved Eagles, you told us last week you didn't like how they were playing, and now we saw what happened in their last game. They lost to the Giants. They're facing the Vikings. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a running back in Philadelphia. His name is Saquon Barkley. He wears number 26, if you don't know who he is. They need to figure out how to get him the ball again. Think about it this way. In the last 2 weeks, he's touched the ball 18 times. That's not good at all. Running backs got to average at least 25 touches a game. You got to give this guy the ball to generate some offense, and then hopefully the offense can play good enough and long enough to keep the defense off the field because the defense is leaky right now. So this will be a very interesting game against a Viking team that is headed in the right direction.
See, and a lot of the video we're showing there, it's the Eagles losing to the Giants. The Giants, they're now facing the Broncos this afternoon. Can they make it 2 wins in a row, Coach?
They can, but this Bronco defense is really, really good. Think about it this way. They only give up 16 points a game. Hard to score against this Bronco defense. And you know what they do really well? They sack the quarterback. 30 sacks already. Lead the league, and they take the ball away. So if you're the Giants and you have this young quarterback, you have to be careful with the ball. It's going to be a field position game. It might look ugly at times, but make it an ugly game. If you get behind against these Denver Broncos, you're in trouble. They do that to the quarterback.
Okay. I didn't want to bring this up, but I'm going to because last week I trusted you. I picked the Commanders to beat the Bears. You know, I was with you all the way, Herm. That did not go well, as we know. This week they're facing the Cowboys. Both teams lost last week. Who will rebound today? What do you think?
Well, Washington needs to rebound because Washington is still in this division race, along with Dallas, to be quite honest. I mean, Dallas has the #1 offense in the National Football League, but Jaden Daniels is the key to this. The Cowboys have trouble stopping the run. Well, guess what? Jaden Daniels and this Washington team, they're second in the National Football League running the football. Now, you see him throwing some passes to McCaffrey and Ertz. That's part of the deal. But his ability to run, I think, really poses a problem to the Dallas Cowboys.
Herm, I've got 99 problems, but who's with Herm ain't one. Let's go ahead and roll the numbers. Let's see that chart. Let's look at the scores. Yeah, there we go. So I've got 4. I'm still in the lead. Janae's got 3, though.
You know what you forget? There's 10 games left. There's a long season.
Exactly.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Keep
He's only got
I'm just looking at the data. I'm just looking at the data.
You keep on chirping, Big Bird.
You've got 2. Witt's got 1. So now on Monday Night Football, we've got the Bucs facing the Lions. What do you think?
Where's the game at?
That's what I was thinking, too. Wait, where's the game at?
Is it at the Buccaneers?
I don't remember. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
It doesn't matter. The Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Really?
I'm taking the Lions.
All
I'm
right.
taking the Lions.
All right,
Can
what do you
someone
think?
in the control room tell?
I'm going. Oh, it's in Detroit. We're just told it's in Detroit. Oh, I'm definitely going with the Lions running game. Jameer Gibbs. He's on my fantasy team. Going with him. Going with the Lions.
I'm going to go with the Lions, too.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that, and my Florida people are going to have a tough time in Detroit's weather, so I'm going to say the Lions, too.
All right.
Yeah.
No. Don't join us.
Yeah.
Let them live and take your Buccaneers. Don't join us. You get all the answers, and all of a sudden, I'm going to take the Lions, too.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly.
Look,
You tell them how it's done, Coach.
I'm with Herm.
You play to win the game.
There you go.
Don't forget the hello. That's the most important thing, the jingle. Hello.
Thank you so much, Herm. It is hard to bet against Gio right now, but we have a Monday night football doubleheader tomorrow night, starting with the Bucks versus the Lions at 7 Eastern on ABC, then the Texans versus the Seahawks at 10 Eastern on ESPN. Look at that board up there.
I'm so glad we keep it up.
Back now with our group chat and the stories that piqued our interest this week. So I will start.
Yeah.
And on Friday, I moderated a panel as part of the March of Dimes It Starts With Mom campaign.
Wow.
The event was called The Collective, and it brought together influential CEOs, changemakers, and advocates for conversations about maternal and infant health. The panel I hosted there, it included 4 women who shared powerful stories about loss and resilience on their journeys to motherhood and the impact that the March of Dimes makes through research, programming, and advocacy for moms and babies. It's a reminder of the stark reality facing American families and the staggering statistics on maternal and infant mortality in this country, which we just continue to see high rates that are really unacceptable and impact so many families. We were just talking to Darien Sutton, the impact on Black moms and babies higher than their counterparts. So a really just impactful event, a reminder of the work to be done.
I'm so glad you did that. That was so important.
Thanks.
I know you've been very passionate about it, getting the word out, raising awareness as well. So thank you for that. All right, mine's a little bit different here. Thursday night football, we saw what was dubbed the Icy Hot Bowl. I love the name of this. 40-year-old Joe Flacco and the Bengals taking on 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So professional sports aside, it got me thinking, I should try out for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
Right? Just kidding. But seriously, though, across the country, we're seeing this growing trend of older adults who are playing sports and they're involved in athletics much longer, myself included. Everything from soccer, my sport, to pickleball, like the fastest growing sport in the country right now. So I was thinking here, if you want to be or are right now an aging athlete, as they're called, how do you properly train while avoiding injury? So I've had several injuries myself.
Yeah, you're dealing with the
reached out
back.
to
Knees,
Gio's.
back.
I know. We reached out to Gio's buddy here, celebrity fitness coach Don Saladino. He's worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, from Ryan Reynolds to Hugh Jackman. The list goes on. So Don gave us these 3 simple tips here. All right.
Okay.
Intensity buildup. So if you're going to start a sport, start slow. What he calls dogging it. About 50% intensity at first, then build it up over time as your body adapts to the movements. Training on all 3 is so important. Your workouts need to include forward, backwards, side to side, and rotational movements.
Yeah, so adding all of that in. Yeah.
Here's the big one here, the third one, recovery. Added focus on rest and nutrition. Take a listen to what he said about that.
My recovery is different than it was when I was 25. So I think understanding as someone in their 40s that they're going to have to put a lot more into recovery, focusing on protein, focusing on sleep quality, and understanding that you can't come back day in and day out at 100% intensity. Learning to adjust that, I think, are the 3 areas that need to be focused on.
By the way, dude's a beast. I was distracted by his biceps right there. He's 48.
48.
Talks about this. But recovery, that's been my issue. I haven't given myself enough time for recovery.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Big thanks to Don for those tips.
And he gives tips like that on Instagram at Don Saladino. All right, so I was walking through the park yesterday, and I realized, like, it hit me. The days are really getting shorter.
Yeah.
But I just want to show you these times here, okay? So this is what's happening. At its peak on July 1st, look at the time here. Sunrise in New York was at 5:28 a.m., sunset 8:31. Yesterday, 7:10 a.m. for that sunrise, 6:10 p.m. for the sunset. So we're losing almost 4 hours of daylight right now. And so I happen to love it. I like it getting a little dark. But I'm told that, like, one of the suggestions is to use a light box that provides 10,000 lux of light for 30 minutes each morning.
So you can get that vitamin D.
So you can get that a little bit, but just get outside. Try to get outside as much as you can and get that natural light.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So important.
You're always the fall guy. You like the fall.
I love the fall.
Yeah, not me.
My birthday month.
Agree to disagree on that.
Wine Snob 72. Florida will have no problems in Detroit because they play in a dome.
That's right.
Follow us on Instagram.
We'll see you tomorrow.